Hello, nonprofit leaders. I'm Sarah Olivieri, your host, and this podcast is here to assist people like you, executive directors, board members, and other nonprofit leaders, make a bigger impact with insights, tips, and lessons learned from nonprofit leaders and experts. Having been an executive director, a board member, and now a consultant and coach, I truly understand the challenges you face. And that's why I'm here. I'm all about working smarter, not harder, so you can make a bigger impact without the burnout. And so is our sponsor, DonorBox. DonorBox isn't just a suite of helpful fundraising tools, it's a partner that helps you raise more money and supports you in retaining your donors. I love their forward-thinking approach. Visit donorbox.org to learn more. And don't forget to sign up for the Inspired Nonprofit Leadership newsletter, where you'll get bite-sized, actionable tips just for nonprofit leaders like you, delivered weekly to your inbox. Sign up at inspirednonprofitleadership.com/sign up. Okay, let's dive into today's episode. So, I wanted to do a session on program design. It's one of my favorite topics, and I don't talk about it a lot. And I haven't, partly because for so many years I was running this Thrive program, mostly coaching executive directors, nonprofit CEOs who were struggling with capacity issues and weren't really focused at that point on redesigning or improving their programming. More recently, as I've been working one on one with organizations and very forward thinking CEOs, it has been such an honor and fun to get into some program design along with all the other leadership things around team building an amazing team, how teams work together. So I thought I would just share a few tips about program design today. Excellent. So, a few tips on program design. When I'm thinking through how programs run, the first thing I want to get clear on is, what is the end result of the program that we're looking for, right? What is the new kind of state that we want participants to be in? And let's really make a clearly defined end. Even if your clients are in like a larger journey, which often they are, right? Within a specific program or service, it's really important to know where that service ends for you and for your clients to, and if you need to artificially create that milestone, a celebration, but also to know what the program design needs to achieve. And when we start really getting clear on the outcome of the program, we can start doing things as we work through exactly how it's delivered, like eliminating things that aren't really necessary or adding missing pieces in that will really help get that outcome. So, after we have a clear outcome, still not time to design the middle. We then need to get really clear on the beginning. So, and not so much, what the beginning of our program is, but the beginning state of our clients, right? What do they need? What state do they need to be well qualified? What state do they need to be in? What things, maybe there are some, if we use like academic terms, some prerequisites, some things that they need to already have in place. So, for example, if you have some sort of peer support program or almost any kind of mental health or physical health program for people who are suffering or aren't well, your clients need to be in a state of having already recognized that they're having a challenge and wanting help, right? So the kind of program or offer that takes people from not wanting help to wanting help is a very different program than a program that takes people from wanting help to getting some sort of outcome on their journey towards wellness. So we have to get really clear on who's a good fit and who is not a good fit, and what kind of state they need to be in order to start this program well, and who it's best going to serve. So once we have kind of our beginning state for our clients and the end state we'd like to have them in, then we can start thinking about what are the steps that they're going to go through in this program or service. So here's a few things to keep in mind when doing that. And I really love to kind of map out the program experience on a whiteboard or online. I use a tool called Miro to just kind of connect all the dots, the steps that the client's going to go through, the steps that we need to take, and then I like to map the emotional journey that the client is going to have. So, my big tip for you, number one, is mapping that emotional journey. So, for example, we might have a client come in, we might do some sort of an assessment, and then maybe it's a couple days before they get the results of the assessment, right? How is a client going to feel in those couple of days while they're waiting? Now, depending on what the assessment was, but we'll use a medical example just to make it obvious, right? Like, let's say you were concerned you had cancer and you've had a biopsy taken and now you're waiting for the results of the biopsy, right? You're feeling anxious, right? And worried. So we can think about how do we build in to our program to help that person when they're feeling anxious. Maybe it's extra communication, maybe a therapist reaches out. There's going to be other moments in your program and you map out the journey where your clients are going to feel really excited and energized about the experience they're having. And that's a great time to capture a testimonial or grab a story so that they can help pay it forward and let other people know about how wonderful your program is. So, mapping that emotional journey helps you design an even better program. My next tip is around eliminating gaps. So, whenever you have multiple people involved in providing a programming, or maybe you hand people off from one person who's going to work with them to another person who's going to work with them, whenever that happens, we have the opportunity for somebody to kind of fall through the cracks. So we always want to either minimize handoffs, right? So maybe there's like a centralized person who's like in charge of somebody's overall experience in the program, and they're in charge of making sure nobody falls through the gaps, through the cracks. Or if we are going to hand people off, to make sure we have some redundancy. I love a warm handoff, right? So, like, I'm working with Jane, and now Barbara's going to start working with Jane. And so, Barbara and Jane and I are all in the same room or on the same call as the handoff happens. Or if that's not possible, then we have some sort of redundancy where if I pass Jane off to Barbara, I don't consider my work done until Barbara's confirmed that she has received Jane, right? So that nobody falls through the cracks. So we want to be mindful of those cracks and build in redundancies or ways that people don't fall through the cracks. My last tip for today is we want to build in some sort of quick win for our clients. So when they come into the program, we want them to experience some form of success, even if it's small, as soon as possible, because this is going to make them feel better about their journey and it's going to give them buy in, right? It's going to cause them to be more engaged throughout the process working with you. So sometimes this might not be the normal first thing you would do, right? It's not maybe always the most logical step one. But if you look through all the things that you can help your clients with in a particular program, think about what's one thing that can maybe stand alone or could be pushed to the very, very front so that they get to feel success right away. The purpose of this first win isn't so much how significant the outcome is, it's just that they experience positive reward. They get that dopamine hit, they get that sense of success, and that's going to be fuel to help them go through the rest of the journey, which might take longer, it might be harder. So, what is that thing that you can front load your program with that will make somebody feel really great and feel like they're confident in their choice to join your program. At the end of the day, whether your program is free or paid, people certainly are concerned about costs. Are concerned about time investment. But one of the biggest overlooked concerns is when people decide to join your program, they are often worried about their faith in themselves, their confidence in themselves to be a good participant, to do what is asked of them. And having this quick win right away helps them feel confident that they made a great choice and that they are going to be capable of doing the rest of the program.
You've been listening to Inspired Nonprofit Leadership. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode or the bonus episodes. And while you're at it, please leave a rating and review, and be sure to share with your friends and colleagues. Tune in every week for more useful insights and wisdom on nonprofit leadership. Thanks so much for all you do for the communities you serve. Until next time, all the best.